Hey everyone, welcome back to Merck's channel. I know it's been quite a while, just had some stuff that I had to figure out, but I am back at it on the AI stuff, so let's just get into it. I wanted to talk about Autogen today. This is a new repo and project that's come out of Microsoft. You can go to microsoft.github.io/autogen/docs and read it for yourself. And essentially, this is just a framework that makes making multi-agent conversations and other types of agent architectures super easily with low effort and their quality and a quality output already, so I would definitely check it out. Today I'm just going to be going over a quick example of how you can get started yourself. I stole this example from a notebook on their GitHub, and I'm just going to be going over how I set it up today with y'all. So the first thing you want to do is pip install Autogen, which is pip install pyautogen. You can find that on their documentation as well. You're going to need an OpenAI API key, of course, and then you will create your config list, and I'll talk about what this is a bit later in the video, but essentially you just call autogen.config list from JSON, and you set the models that you want to be using. Most of the examples use GPT-4. I assume it's better output, but I'm using 3.5 for demonstration purposes and also because I don't want to break the bank. Let's go. Next thing here is my check stocks year-to-date function, which takes in 2 tickers, and then we have our setup. So step 1 is getting the year-to-date gains of the 2 tickers that we're passing in. And to do this, the first thing we're going to need to do is set up our assistant agent, which you can do by calling autogen.assistantAgent and give it a name, and then you pass in the LLM config with its seed, which is just for caching purposes, and the config list, which we have above here, so it knows what model to use, and of course the temperature. And I'm keeping it to 0 because I don't want it kind of going off the rails. We want accurate information. We don't want it to get too crazy or too creative here. Just want it to do the work. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to set up our user proxy agent and give it a name as well. And then we're going to set the human input mode to never. And so this is important because there are, I believe, 3 input modes from what I've seen. There's the always, terminate, and never. And the always input mode will be the mode where the agent is going to prompt the user, like you actually, for confirmation if you want to execute code or what you should do next. If you do have it on that mode, you can just hit enter to skip and let it auto go by itself. Human input mode never means it's not going to ask you for any input. It will simply just stop when it reaches the termination signal, which will be terminate. And then we have the code execution config. So this is where all of the code is and everything is going to be working within. So I just call it coding, and you can see I've already tried it a few times here as well. And then this is it. You literally just say user proxy.initiate chat. You're going to pass in the assistant, and then we're going to pass in a message, which is what is today, and then compare the year-to-date gain for ticker 1 and ticker 2, which we're passing in. So what it's going to do is it's going to think about what today's date is, and it's going to think of all the Python libraries that we need to actually get the year-to-date gain for the 2 tickers that we pass in, find those, and it should terminate at that point with the actual answer. And now what's really cool about this is, like, if you know this is kind of the full step 1 of getting the year-to-date, and you know it's going to terminate after this, you can then kind of be a bit more manual with it and say, okay, now that we have the year-to-date, I know next I want to plot the chart. And this is where you can use the send function on user proxy to send a direct message to the assistant proxy with the command that you want to do. So for me, I have it saying plot a chart of their stock price changing year to date and save to stock price year to date 3.png. And for this example, I'm using the tickers GME and Tesla. And yeah, let's just run it and see what happens. And I'm going to probably skip through a little bit of this because it does take a little bit. So I will see you guys in a second. We'll go over the code. All right, just checking in here, and we are looking at what is going on. So we can see the first thing that happened was boom, baby. All right, let's look and see what happened. So first thing that happened was it said, okay, let's get the current date. We'll use this with Python's built-in datetime module. Ugh. And it's getting the current date. Next, we need to get the year-to-date gain for GME and Tesla. We can use Yahoo Finance module pip installs in its shell, write some code. It knows that today's date is September 30th, 2023. Oh no, there's an error. It self-corrects itself, carries on. And this is all because we have human input mode set to never, or else it would just ask us for input at these stages. Finally gets the actual year-to-date gains for each, and then that was all done within this. And now the next step is to plot the chart. So this is the cool part. It's going to take the actual year-to-date gains that we have, and it's going to just say, all right, let's plot the chart. Same thing. And boom. And we can check here. Stock price change year-to-date. Boom. And that's pretty much it. So as you can see here, it allows for a pretty flexible setup. They show you different examples of setup patterns that you can use, like executor and assistant for online decision making, multi-agent coding. You could have a manager of a group chat and have the group chat kind of speak back to the manager to let it know when things are done. And so for me, I'm personally excited because I think this is going to make it so much easier for people to make agent workflows that are a bit more complex, and you can kind of string these together like I was showing you there. You had getting the year to date, and then once that's done, we take that and then we put it into another workflow with the information that we gathered from the first. And so I imagine, I'm just showing you an example of this website here. Appify is a website and a platform that lets developers build web scrapers that other people can use and run in their own containers, and I believe the developers get compensated for it. And I predict there are going to be a couple platforms like this where you can come on with pre-made agents that developers will probably use Autogen to create because it's such an easy framework to create complex workflows with. And you could have kind of like a Zapier on steroids mixed with Appify, where you can come and find pre-made templates of Autogen agents and their workflows, like a group chat for researching, which then passes it off to a designer and engineer, and then puts out the final product. So I'm personally very excited about this project, as I hope all y'all watching are. And yeah, I hope you found this somewhat informational. Maybe I brought this to your attention if you didn't already know about it. It is kind of a short video. I will put the code in my GitHub this weekend if anybody's interested, and join the Discord if you have any questions. I'll put the link in the comments below. Drop a like, drop a sub, drop the hate comments, drop the love comments, drop the neutral comments. Any comments is fine. And yeah, until next time, there's no outro, so much love and peace, y'all.